There we go. It is Thursday and we are back with yet another Snack and Learn. So I am so excited to have Jo Ann with me today. I'm going to hide these banners here for a minute. We have Jo Ann Kobuke with us today because we've determined that Thursday is the day that we should talk about hypnotism. And I want to introduce Jo Ann kind of officially, and then I want to jump into talking to you, Jo Ann, because I have a ton of questions about what you do and how you do it. And I'm sure that a lot of our group that's watching does as well, whether you're live or on replay. I'm sure you're going to have as many questions as I do. And if I don't cover your question, be sure to drop it in the comments and we will make sure Jo Ann gets tagged to answer it. So, Jo Ann, thank you for joining us. Jo Ann is a coach and a certified hypnotist serving women 40 plus, hello, I qualify, with a really unique blend of coaching and hypnosis to help women reduce stress, anxiety, improve weight loss, clarify life goals, really get a handle on their life and their physical, emotional, and spiritual journey. Jo Ann, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Pam. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we were just talking about how much we like these conversations because you can have the conversation and all sorts of things come up and we can really kind of direct it to be a very informational piece. And I never walk away from these without having picked up a really cool tip or two. So let's start with you. How did you get into this business? What do you love about it? And then I'm sure that's going to lead me to all of my questions that I can't wait to ask.
Well, my prior career was in business. I'm a retired CPA. We talked about that before because we have a similar background in that way. And, you get to that point in life where you say, maybe this isn't filling my cup anymore. Right.
Yep.
And then you look at the birthday candles on your cake and you're like, well, crap. If I'm going to do something, I better get on the stick.
When there's more candle than cake.
I know. It's, I tell my story about how my daughter made me a birthday cake and she says, Mom, look, don't be mad, but like, I can't put all those candles on your cake, because there won't be any cake left. So I'm like, okay, I get it. She goes, so I'm going to use these little, kid candles, right? The numbers.
Yep.
And I looked at them and I thought, oh, because it's not like I don't know how old I am, but when I see that 64 on the top of my cake, I'm like,
I love that.
So, I've always been interested in self-development, personal development. I'm curious about all kinds of things. I love doing, those personality tests and things to see like what I'm all about. And I've kind of started into human design, which is really interesting.
Neat.
And so, I've always been interested in hypnotism. It's kind of a funny story because when I told I have a big family, when I told them that I was doing this, that I was training to be a hypnotist, they started laughing because when I was young, I hypnotized one of my sisters.
For real or pretend?
Yeah. Well, I think it was for real. And at the and you know how people have different memories of things. She claims no, never happened, but I'm like, I don't know, because we were young. I was like 11 maybe, and she was 6. She's quite, I have a big family. There's long range in age. So I did it a couple times, and then the last time I showed my mom, look what I could do, and what it was, I wasn't thinking about the kind of response I was likely to get from my mom, like, what the hell are you doing? And so I said, look, I'll show you. And I had her, like raise her arm and hold it there and really stiffly just hold it up for a while. And my mother wasn't happy. And she started telling my sister to put her arm down. And
she wouldn't do it.
And then my mom got madder. And then she started talking loudly. And then pretty soon she was pretty much yelling. And my sister was like not cooperating. And if you knew my mom, you know that she had to be hypnotized not to cooperate with what my mom was saying.
Oh, gotcha. One of those. Wow.
And so, but my mom, like, she scared me so much about it, and she was so unhappy with me that I didn't
ever do it.
Follow it up, right? But I've always had an interest. So,
wow.
Recently, I took some other training, and part of what we were trained as a coaching mechanism was to use parts of hypnosis, and it triggered that old sense of, gee, I want to know
Interest.
more, right? And so there's a really great hypnosis training school in Bellingham, not far from me. And it's funny how these things go, right? I decided that I wanted to check into it. I go online and I look around, and lo and behold, they're having their first in-person class since the pandemic started. This was when we had a little lull in between. And so
Which school was it in Bellingham?
it's called the Cascade Hypnosis. Oh, why are you
That
laughing?
is a
Do you
dear
know that?
friend of mine. It's Erica Flint.
Yeah. So you know
Erica's a
Erica,
dear
that's
friend
right,
of
because
mine.
you have a training. I forgot you have a training that you did for her,
Mhm.
and it's
Yep.
in the yeah.
Yep. Oh,
So
that's awesome. I didn't realize that was the school you went to. That is great.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But the thing is, it was like it started in 5 days, and I'm like,
Oh my
well,
gosh.
and the next one wasn't going to be until October or
Yep.
later, December, whatever it was, and so I'm like, oh, so I'm calling them up, and they're kind of like, well, maybe you should wait until, because there's some things that you have to do beforehand. I said, look, I'll do them. Just give them to me. I'll do them.
I
And they're like,
love it.
okay.
Okay.
And I did them. I went up there. I got certified. It was great. Just
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so you've been integrating it kind of ever since in your coaching.
Yeah.
So
Because,
let's no, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, it's really such a great marriage of coaching and hypnosis because, in coaching, when you're talking to somebody, part of what your work as a coach is to kind of get past their objections, right? To get down to where you're really talking about the real things.
Even when they don't know that they're objections.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
people come with all these ideas about coaching. Oh, I really want help, but I don't want to have to air all my dirty laundry here, right? I don't want them to think poorly of me because I do this or because I
Right.
want that or whatever. And so it takes time to be able to develop that trust and create that safe space where they're okay. But and that is what hypnosis does for coaching.
So it expedites that trust building process.
It does. And you can bypass all that kind of little dancing around and get right down to work. The work that I do, typically it's an 8-week session. And it's a combination of coaching and hypnosis. And so it depends on what the issue is that they want to address. And we only address one issue during that 8-week session.
Got it. Does it always involve hypnosis, or do you kind of evaluate whether it needs it or not?
It depends on whether it needs it. There's different ways to do it. If someone comes to me and they have like a specific thing, it's like, okay, my daughter is having her baby and I want to fly down to Florida to be able to see them, but I'm really scared of flying. I haven't been able to get on a
Gotcha. So
plane
it could be that specific, the symptom.
Right.
Okay,
and then,
gotcha.
We go right to it and we deal with that issue. Other times women will come to me and, it's more generalized. And so, you use your coaching skills to ask those questions to find out, okay, let's kind of narrow this down. Where are we going with this? And a lot of times it's about self-confidence. It's about, all that subtle and not so subtle programming that you got when you were little, about what you were good with, what how women were supposed to act, all of that kind of stuff. And it's gotten in the way.
Mm-hmm. But you don't even know it's in the way.
Yeah, you can tell, right? And so then what you do is I practice a form of hypnosis called 5-path. And if you know Erica, you probably know about that. And so there's a process that you go through to be able to identify what the issue is, to be able to then under hypnosis move back in time to those circumstances where those things first were created.
Mm-hmm.
And, most of that stuff happens when you're little.
Mm-hmm.
And you interpret all of that with your little girl mind. And I always laugh about this because, it means, that's how you build the basis for your belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when we're between 0 and 7, we're sucking it all in, trying to figure out what life's about and who we are and how we operate. But the thing is, your life then is run by those interpretations of your little girl mind. And so essentially your life today is being run by who you were as a 7-year-old,
Mhm.
which,
Yep.
which can be a little scary. And you think, oh,
It's
maybe that's
daunting.
why I act the way I do about certain things.
That's what. Well, it's interesting. So kind of, I have two little hypnosis stories that I'd love to run by you. One actually is with Erica because I was working on her with an issue I was dealing with, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the things she did was exactly what you described, and had me go back and remember like the first time something happened, and then the
Mm-hmm.
first time that, then she said, now remember before that, now remember
Mm-hmm.
before that. And I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking, I can't remember any of this stuff. And finally I did remember something, and it was this. I had been, I don't even have really active visuals of it, but I knew I was in a room in a crib,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd had a dream about falling off a boat. And
Oh,
when I called, nobody could hear me. They were out,
yeah. Right.
outside or whatever.
Right.
And all she did was say, while you're there now, instead of falling off the boat, fly.
Oh,
And that changed,
changed
it
everything.
shifted everything in that
Mm-hmm.
moment. So
Mm-hmm.
one tiny little thing that was a dream that I had probably when I was 2 that I couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
really remember, she
Yeah.
made one shift and I could feel it like dominoes going,
Yes.
and
Exactly.
all of a sudden
Exactly.
that whole emotion went away around the thing I was dealing with. So it was
Mm-hmm.
magical for me. So it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of the first time I'd experienced that sort of transformation, but never did I feel out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Never did I feel like I was, I would miss something that happened around me if there was a fire or somebody
Mm-hmm.
needed me. Um, I think people think with hypnosis, it scares people off a little bit because they think I'm not
Yeah.
going to be in control.
Right.
Somehow I was still very much in control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the kind of hypnosis you do, you know, tell me about how a client feels in that space. I mean, I know how I'm having trouble articulating it, but
It varies from person to person, but in general, they everyone talks about how relaxed they feel and how calm they are. And what hypnosis is a heightened state of awareness. And a hypnotist is a guide during that time. So when you're in that heightened state of awareness, your conscious mind takes a little vacation, and it, is busy thinking about something else. And we're dealing directly with the subconscious mind. And that's where, all of your belief system, all your emotions are. And so, like he's described, we kind of take a walk down memory lane, and we're looking for certain kinds of things. And it's very um it's very calming. And that's part of what we as hypnotists do is we help build that calm space, right?
mhm.
Because that's the best way to be able to deal with these things, because people come with fear,
Mhm.
right? They're
Oh, yeah,
afraid of things, like you
absolutely.
were saying. And so you want to build that comfortable, relaxed state. For me personally, I found that I've only had like Valium or Percocet once when I had to have an operation, a little procedure.
That little
And
buzz, right?
yes, I was like, wow, this feels really good. I thought to myself, oh, I can see why people
Take me back down, take me back down. Yeah, it's
What?
interesting. Yeah, the old performance stuff is real
Yeah,
probably, but it's not what it's used for in coaching.
yeah, yeah.
It's not reprogramming. It's not,
No,
well, it is,
no.
I guess reprogramming is just such a frightening word, but I mean, like I said, I changed that one clearly image that I had in my subconscious of falling to flying.
But see, you came wanting to make a change.
Got it.
And that is all the difference in the world. You under hypnosis, you're not going to do anything you don't want to do.
Mhm.
And those people you see on the Hollywood show standing up there doing whatever, subconsciously they want to
They're
do,
performing, right.
perform, right? Yeah, they, who knows? Maybe they're frustrated actors. I don't know. But the
There you
thing
go.
is,
So it's, yeah.
you're not gonna, they chose to go up there because
Yep.
they wanted that. And in hypnosis, people come because they want to make change.
Mhm.
And during the first session, we spent a lot of time talking about what it is you want specifically, to get down to, because a lot of times people come and they think they know what they want. And that's where the coaching skills come into play, because asking the right
Every coach
question,
watching this is going to go,
following it down, the path, and you start uncovering, it's like, the layers of an onion. You get down to like, oh no, this is really the issue
This is
that
the
I want
thing.
help with. This is what it is. And then once you get there, then you say, okay, so what do you want it to be? This isn't working for you. What do you want it to be? And we talk about measurable outcomes, right? Because everybody wants to feel that they actually accomplished something. And the only way to do that is to have some markers, right, of measurement. And so we work on those. And then we work on, we identified the kinds of suggestions that they want to have to help them move closer to their goal.
Got it.
So any suggestions that you're given under hypnosis are ones that you've put forward.
Got it. And then do those stay with you? And basically that's the filter through what your decisions come through then. Like, I think about this in terms of eating. So, one of the things a lot of people do, I'm sure with you, is for weight loss or health. I'd hate to call it weight loss. I'd much prefer to call it health and strength and fitness and all of those things. So what it's kind of saying is, when I go to the refrigerator or go to the pantry and have the choice between the candy bar and the yogurt, I'm going to, instead of filtering through whatever it was, that child who felt like they were falling, I'm now filtering it through, wait a minute, I want to be healthy enough to fly. And so I'm grabbing, but I want to. It's not like I'm fighting something anymore.
Right.
For that grab. And I think that's what really struck me.
Yeah, you see it differently because, you've made that choice that you want to eat healthier. And so what we help you do is focus towards the thing that you want instead of focusing over here on what you don't want.
That's a great point.
Because when all you're thinking about is, I can't have this, I can't have this, like I used to make jokes about, as soon as someone says diet, I say chocolate cake. Because
you and I are very similar, not just CPAs either.
Yeah. And so what changes is that you recognize that, yes, you can have that piece of cake or you can have that bag of chips, but you don't want it because you want to be healthier. That's more important to you than that temporary little excitement or happiness that you get from eating those chips.
And now your subconscious is supporting that instead of fighting against it because it doesn't understand it.
Yes. And, coupled with that, there are some conscious strategies that we work with as well. There's the situation of making it easy, right? Making it easy to make that healthy choice. So you stock your fridge with things that you like to eat, not just carrot sticks and cucumbers, healthy things that you want to eat, because it's not about depriving yourself. And we talk about, reasonable portion control. So there's all of these strategies in addition to the hypnosis underlying this, which allows you, it allows you to integrate at the subconscious level these things that and understand at the conscious level. So you really get, it's an extra strength. Encouragement.
You get an extra kicker. You have the moving sidewalk going with you instead of against you. I think is the way to look at it. So let me ask you a question. Of late, last couple of years, I've started to do a lot of meditation. Is meditation hypnosis?
Meditation is a form of self-hypnosis.
Okay.
And so, anytime you get your brain into that space, they talk about the different kinds of brain waves and things like that. I don't know all that much about it, but the thing is, through meditation and through hypnosis, you're moving your brain to a different wavelength.
Okay.
And so, and in that state, like with there's what they call guided meditation or guided visualization, where you are brought into that state through what the person is saying. And then you're given some suggestions and you're given some encouragement and ideas to help you solidify, what you want. And
so it is kind of self-hypnosis, depending on if it's guided, then whoever it is that's the guide is kind of doing the hypnotism for you.
Right. They're giving you those suggestions. And, so if you have a guided visualization, for instance, I have one about stress, right? And I'm talking to them about visiting a garden and what they see and hear and
Got it.
feel and how that brings them to a state of calm. And so when you're in that hypnotic state, these things sink in more.
Got it. Got it. That makes so much sense, which is why meditation is such a
Yeah,
powerful self-exercise. So
it is.
one of the things I know, I mean, I know people are going to have questions and interest about this, and one of the things that we all deal with, certainly in this group, is stress. And of course, the holidays tend to
Yeah.
bring that. And this year, with everything that's going on with the supply chain out there, first of
Mhm.
all, everybody's learning the term supply chain, which they may not have known before.
Yeah.
Second of all, the pictures of the containers in the harbor and all of
Yeah.
the things that we're learning about the holidays. I'm guessing there's going to be a little extra stress this year.
Probably
So
so.
tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about what this is and when it is and how people might be able to attend. I'm going to run the link under here, but I'm also going to copy it into the chat. So go
Great.
ahead and tell us a little bit about what it is, and then I'll get this copied into the chat.
Right. So this is a variation of my stress relief workshop. It's kind of the holiday edition because there are things
Holiday.
that happen during the holidays that just kind of ramp things up, right? Because we have these expectations. It's supposed to be the most joyful time of the year, and a lot of times it's the most stressful time of the year. So so the workshop is designed to help you, first of all, it's like being mindful, slowing down, making a conscious choice. I did a little piece in my Instagram stories about making a conscious choice, not to go full out fixing up my front door and making everything look beautiful, because it wasn't that important to me.
I
At
love
least
it.
not this year, right? So I have 3 little pumpkins out there. They're kind of cute when you walk up, but that's good enough. And so the
I love
workshop
it.
is about helping you realize what's important, right? And we talk about those things, but sometimes you need a little help walking through that, right? So
Amen.
it's like, what's important to your family? Have you had that discussion lately about, do you want to do the things we've always done? What if we do something differently? How about maybe a different menu do we have to have those sweet potatoes with the marshmallows every year? Can we do something
Well,
else?
yes, that. But anything else you can start to. No, I'm
Oh,
with
okay.
you.
For you, that's
But
really,
that's what you get. Everybody's got a favorite dish that they don't want to
I know.
dispense with. So yeah,
That's,
I hear you. I hear you. This is definitely stressful. That's so
and so
funny.
there are those things. And, there's the quest for the perfect gift, the
Hmm.
perfect holiday table decorations, and,
The
all of that
disappointment
kind of
when it's all over and the kids leave again, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
that's great. So they can find that at this particular link. But then in addition, folks, Joanne has a Facebook group. So let me pop that up here in the comments
Yes.
really quickly because I'm guessing are people welcome to join this
Oh,
Facebook
of
group,
course.
Joanne?
Uh-huh.
Fantastic. So look up Jo Ann Kobuke Hypnosis. I'm going to go check it out for sure because this has always fascinated me. Kind of like you, I don't think I ever successfully hypnotized anybody because I never sat still for that long. For the longest time, I said meditation wasn't for me, despite the fact that
Mm,
my wife has been telling me for 10 years, you should
mm.
meditate, you should meditate. So I think I went to a conference like a few years ago and came back going, I should meditate. At which point she very wisely said, "That's a great idea. Why don't you do
Yes, she is a
that?"
very wise woman. So
And
the link that you have here is to my Facebook business page. And in addition,
awesome.
I do have a Facebook group, which is called the
Ah.
Messy Midlife Society.
Hang on, I got to put that up here. That's awesome. Is that also something people are welcome to join?
Yes, definitely. I'd love to
Fantastic.
have you
That's
there.
great.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
great. Well, I'm
fun.
looking forward to that. So, if you could give people, some may not be able to make it to the workshop, some could. What are a couple of tips that we can take away with us today and go do today, tomorrow, this coming weekend, and just sort of take some of the stress out of how we're approaching things?
Well, the biggest thing to remember is that you have choices and you are in control of your choices. So often we believe that we don't have control, that it's somebody else, that we have to make them happy. It's all about them. But the truth is, it really needs to be about you.
I
And
love
that's the
that.
other thing we talk about in the workshop is that, it's about self-care, and that's an important thing. Self-care is not selfish. I think a lot of women think that. So I wanted to encourage people that even if they can't actually come on Saturday, if they sign up and I have their email address, then I can send them the audio, the relaxation
Oh my
audio
gosh,
that I talked
folks,
about,
I hope you caught that.
because
So,
that's part of what people get when they come.
oh, fantastic. So whether on replay or live here,
Right.
definitely reach out to Jo Ann if you could use this tool. The holidays are coming. There are some really good techniques for dealing with stress that I know Jo Ann is going to address. Like I said, I have a dear friend who does the same sort of work that Jo Ann does. It's made a massive difference in my life with one session, just changed everything. And it wasn't crazy emotional upheaval. I'm sure there is some of that sometimes, but this was just a little tiny tweak
Mhm.
from something that happened when I was 2 that I thought that I didn't even know I remembered, I guess is the way to
Right.
look. And from falling to flying, and all of a sudden 100 things changed in how
Change.
I thought about
Mhm.
stuff.
I
So
love the way you describe the ripple. It's like the dominoes that just all
these
fall down.
things all of a sudden disappeared that I
Yep.
had assigned this truth to
Yeah.
that wasn't real at all. It was 2-year-old imagination. So
Yeah.
just amazing. So I have a ton of value for the work you're doing, and I really appreciate you coming on here to talk to us. I know everybody who sees this is going to get a lot out of it. And like I said, the topic fascinates me. So I'm going to be following your business page, joining your group, and stalking
Great.
you
Oh,
everywhere.
great. I'll be happy to see you there.
And you
Well,
guys, you
thank
never
you very
know.
much.
Joanne might show up at one of our campfires, hypnotize us all sometime, maybe. So be
Well, we
sure and
do
check
group
out the
hypnosis.
campfires. That's right. Be sure and
All
check out
right.
the campfires. That's where I learned all about this. So thank you so much for being
Oh,
here with
you're
us
welcome.
today.
Thank
Everybody
you
have a
very much.
great rest of the week. Rock it into the weekend. Knock all those balls out of the park. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.